This week we're putting Trader Joe's Sauvignon Blanc into the ring against its Josh counterpart. Who's going to be standing when the bell rings? Welcome to The Wine Fool. As always, I'm Scott. I rate wine based on the wine drinker's experience, not some arbitrary numbering system made up by professionals. This week I stopped by Trader Joe's looking for an episode idea and spotted 2 Sauvignon Blancs that I'd never tried before, alongside a Josh counterpart that was 3 times the price. Digging around my Vivino account, I discovered that many moons ago, I tried a Josh Sauvignon Blanc. It was the 2016 vintage, and I gave it the overly wordy rating of good, solid Sauv Blanc, and rated it 3 out of 5. Sauvignon Blanc is a personal favorite of mine, especially once the weather turns warm. It's typically crisp and refreshing due to the high acidity, and it's relatively uncomplicated with no tannins and low body, a combination that makes it easy to drink. It helps that it's also usually cheap, with decent options coming from New Zealand, South Africa, and California for $15 or less. So let's see if these uber cheap Trader Joe's options can go toe-to-toe with the popular kid, Josh. The typical aromas and flavors of Sauvignon Blanc feature lime, grapefruit, green apple, fig, and melon. They can also have herbaceous notes of bell peppers, gooseberries, and grass. So let's bring out our first contender with the popular favorite, Josh. This is the Josh Cellars 2023 Sauvignon Blanc from California. This is 13.2% alcohol by volume and was $15.49. Lots of aroma on the nose, grapefruit, green apple. It's a very light color. My green walls are doing me a dirty again. It's a very light yellow. Cheers. Decent acidity. Getting that mouth watering. No body, no nothing. A little bit of that green apple on the tongue. It's a decent Sauvignon Blanc. It's doesn't have much. I mean, Sauvignon Blanc is fairly benign, right? It's something I pull out during the summer. I want to sit on the back porch, have something cold in my glass, and enjoy. I'm not a huge fan of Josh in general. This is okay. For 15 bucks, yeah. I think sort of the point of doing this is to see how these uber cheap versions match up to this. This is setting a fairly low bar, I want to say. It's not phenomenal. It's okay. It's a good, decent Sauvignon Blanc that's cheap. It's in that cheap price range. 15 bucks. Doesn't last on the tongue very much. I would say this is a 0, Wine Fool level 0. For those of you who are new to that rating system, a 0 simply means if I would introduce this to somebody who's never had wine before. I would introduce this to somebody who's never had wine before, to answer my own question. This is an approachable wine. There's not a whole lot going on. It's that higher acidity. If you're eating this with food, with like light cheeses, richer cheeses even, light meats, nothing too heavy, this will get lost. Chinese food, Asian food, I think pairs really well with this. Not too shabby. $15. Now we're gonna move on to these uber cheap versions to see if they can get a couple licks in on the heavyweight. Next, we have the 2023 Trader Joe's Growers Reserve Sauvignon Blanc from California. This is 12% alcohol by volume, so sounds like we'll have a little bit more residual sugar in this one compared to the Josh that we just tried. And this was $4.79, and per the label, this is made with organic grapes. This is Frank. So similar color to the Josh, that you could say they probably came out of the same bottle. It's very close. A little bit more floral on the nose, very low on the aroma, not getting a whole lot off of it. I'm getting flowers off of it, which is kind of interesting, different. Light apple, more sweeter apple actually. So let's give it a try. Not quite as acidic as the Josh. The acidity's still there. I think it's tempered by the decrease in alcohol, so it's mellowed out. Not quite as refreshing as the Josh. Not bad. Yeah, the acidity isn't quite where I would like it. I like a good crisp acidity. This is nice. It feels a little tempered though. It's not bad. Wine Fool Level 0, again, this is a great introductory wine for someone who's never had wine before. This would be great, and especially at this price point, $4.79, less than $60 for an entire case. I'd have no problem buying a case of this and enjoying it all summer. As a wine to drink on my own or to share with friends. Not particularly exciting, not particularly adventurous, but we're not always looking for exciting and adventurous. Sometimes we're just looking for something that drinks well. This drinks very well. And at that price point, you really can't go wrong. Frank! Last for this week, we have the 2022 Trader Joe's Coastal Sauvignon Blanc from the Central Coast region of California. This is 13% alcohol by volume and was $5 for a bottle. So as you can tell, we've got a little bit of a difference in color. A little bit more golden as opposed to these sort of yellow, greeny Sauvignon Blancs. A little bit more aromatic than our second wine. A little bit closer to the Josh, not quite as aromatic as the Josh. Getting that grapefruit, that green apple. The label says tropical notes and minerality, and I get that. I'm getting a little bit of minerality on the finish. Not my favorite out of the three. Something, the body feels a little bit off, even though the percentage is actually closer to the Josh. The body feels a little bit more full. And it's a hairline difference between the three of them. Just not my favorite. Again, $5, kind of can't go wrong. Wine Fool Level 0. Wouldn't be out of the question to introduce this to someone who's never had wine before. Easy drinker, something simple, not complicated. Low tannins, low body, higher acidity. Not the highest, an easy drinker. It doesn't have all of the qualities that I prefer to see in a Sauvignon Blanc. But again, what do you want for $5? Before we wrap it up, I'd like to thank you in advance for commenting, liking, and subscribing. It means a lot to me. And we have a winner. Despite my somewhat derogatory view towards Josh Cellars most of the time, I would say that out of the three of these, the one that I enjoy the qualities of the most is the Josh. However, when you can get 3 bottles for the price of one, the difference isn't big enough that I would be like, oh, I definitely have to get the Josh. I'd be more than happy with a case of this at $4.79. It's so much. A case of this will cost you, close to
3 hours later.
A case of the Josh, which sounds like a really bad illness. A case of the Josh Sauvignon Blanc will cost you close to $180 or more. I can get 3 cases of this and be just as, pleased by the results. So, depends on your taste bud. What are your thoughts? Would love to hear your thoughts on Sauvignon Blanc and your thoughts on whether you go cheap or cheaper in this case, because $15 isn't particularly expensive, but $5 is kind of hard to beat. And to get a drinkable wine for $5, that's something to cheers about. So until next time, stay foolish and cheers to drinking better wine. Oh my gosh, you kids.